Hello, friends. Melissa Ross here, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness. Welcome to this 10th edition of Matt Chat, where we will be discussing anxiety today. Anxiety is just energy. That's our title today. So I welcome all of you. Thank you for joining me this evening. Please do write hashtag live or hashtag replay in the comments. And as always, please do leave me your thoughts. Leave me any suggestions for future talks and discussions, topics you would like to hear about. Hi, Patricia Milne. That's my mom. Hope you're well tonight. So we are talking about anxiety as energy tonight. So anxiety comes in many, many different forms, friends. Anxiety can be a full-blown panic attack. Anxiety can be frustration or anger. Hi, Michael Brooks. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you're well. Anxiety can be frustration and anger. And most often in children, that's how anxiety manifests. It manifests as frustration. It manifests as tears. It manifests as anger because they don't know what to do with those feelings. But sometimes it manifests that way in adults too. So anxiety doesn't necessarily always have to be that big panic attack where you've got the shakes and the room's closing in on you. Hi, Sue. Hope you're well tonight. Thanks for watching. It doesn't have to be that big, massive episode to be labeled anxiety, really, in the medical community. And those big episodes are really what they traditionally label panic attacks. But we can have mild anxiety in many, many different forms. And what I want to talk about today is the fact that anxiety is just energy. And if we label it as energy and not anxiety, then it helps us to cope with it. It's a strategy in itself by labeling it as energy. So, and what that comes down to, it comes down to discovering what your tell is. So everybody who's ever experienced a major panic attack or experienced just mild anxiety has felt something within their body before that happened, before the anxiety happened, or before the major episode happened, or the panic happened, or the anger or the frustration happened. Hi, Michael. Hope you're well tonight. So anybody who's experienced that experiences a tell beforehand, and it takes us a long time to figure out what that tell is, and it's about paying attention to your body and paying attention to what's happening inside your body before that episode, before that anger, or before the tears come, or before the frustration, or before that major episode of panic, right? So for lots of us, it's a feeling inside your body. For lots of us, it's maybe the shakes, or you feel nervous, so you have that kind of nervous feeling in your hands. For lots of kids, it's a sore stomach, it's nausea, and that's their tell that anxiety is going to happen, or that anxiety is affecting them, okay? And that maybe it's getting worse. And so finding your tell, first off, is important, because when you find your tell and you know what your tell is, and you know what that feeling is inside your body, then at that point, that's when you can tell yourself it's just energy. Okay? So for me, my biggest tell, the start of that for me, is a nervous feeling, and so I feel energy in my hands. I might feel it in my chest as well, but for the most part, I feel energy moving in my hands. And it used to be a long time ago, when I first started struggling with anxiety, that energy would start in my hands, and then the panic would start to come, and my heart would start pounding, and the room would start closing in on me. But now that I know that that's my tell, and I know that that's just energy, it's not an actual panic attack, or it's not an actual anxiety attack, it's just the start of energy, then I can tell myself it's just energy. It's not panic, it's not anxiety, and I can start to say to myself, that's just energy. I've got energy. Or, oh, I woke up this morning and I've got energy. I wonder why that energy's there. And then I can start to analyze it, and I can start to pick it apart and say, what's going on? Am I nervous about something? Am I frustrated about something? Am I emotional about something? Is there an emotion that I'm not addressing, right? And by addressing that as just energy, it allows you to step back from it and step outside of the episode and step outside of what's happening inside of your body to make that analysis. And it's that analysis that will nip it in the bud. And so, it doesn't happen overnight, friends. It's not like you can just all of a sudden tomorrow nip a panic attack in the bud. But eventually what will happen is you'll get this pang of energy, okay? So for me, a biggest panic attack for me, small anxiety for me was that towel in my hands. But a big panic attack for me was all of a sudden, bang in the heart, right? Like it just hit me all of a sudden. I would just get that pounding in the chest, and my chest would just start deeply pounding all of a sudden. And for me, that was like, okay, big anxiety is happening. And I would start to get the shakes and the other symptoms of a large panic attack. But now I can step back. So I've labeled that small kind of energy getting up in the morning. Hi, Dan. Hope you're well tonight. So I can label that small energy in my hands in the morning as, hey, I've got energy. There's energy flowing in my hands today. I wonder why that energy's there. And I can pick that apart. So because I've practiced with that already, and I know that I can reason that and figure out what that energy is. Okay, now I can do that when a big pang comes, okay, when something big happens. So case in point, as an example, a few weeks ago I received an email with some interesting news. It was kind of jolting to me. It wasn't something that I was expecting to see, and it was going to affect me greatly. So I got it. All of a sudden it was like that, oh wow, that big, panic in the heart, and it starts to pound. And that happens to all of us because that's our fight or flight sensation. So it's normal to have that fight or flight sensation. So that's what it is. That it's that, okay, am I going to fight or am I going to flee, right? All of a sudden. And for most people who experience anxiety and experience panic attacks, that's what happens initially. And what happens is their body misconstrues that fight or flight that all of us have inside of us. Our body misconstrues that as anxiety or a panic attack, and we move forward with that, and our body just runs with it, right? Our mind runs with it and our body runs with it. But when you start seeing that as just energy, then you can say, okay, that's a pang of energy. Even though it was a big one, that's a pang of energy, and you can start to reason it away. You can start to reason with yourself and say, hi, Jillian, hope you're well tonight. You can start to reason with yourself and say, okay, that's the big pang. I'm going to tell myself, okay, it's just energy. It's a course of energy because something has jolted me, something's affected me. But now you can start reasoning with yourself. Okay, what's the worst thing that could happen if this comes true? Okay, what's the probability that this is going to come true? And if it does come true, what's the worst thing that can happen? But what's the least thing that could happen? Maybe that's all that's going to happen, right? It could be from one extreme to the next. Where's the in between? What's most likely to happen? And you can start reasoning it away. And I tell you, friends, I've been practicing this for 18 years now. 18 years ago was when I first had my first panic attack. And so for 18 years, I've been practicing this. And I can tell you, friends, this happened 2 or 3 weeks ago when I got this email. I got this big pang. Okay, it's energy, right? So why do I have the energy flowing? Why did I get that fight or flight? What's happening? What's my thought process? So I started analyzing and picking apart my thought process and actually sitting down going, okay, what is reality? Okay, so my thinking mind can actually say what is real, what's actually going to happen, and if the worst actually happens, the worst thing that my mind is running to that's making me have anxiety, if that worst thing happens, how will I handle it? What's my plan? Okay, what can I put in place, and what will I do to handle that, and how will I make that be okay? And I tell you, friends, I walked myself through that, and instantly, like within minutes, that was gone, it was done, and that energy was gone and out of my body. So it takes practice, friends. Like I say, 18 years ago was when I first had my first anxiety attack or panic attack. And back then, that's what I called it. I don't call it anymore. I don't call it that anymore. I call it energy, okay? So whether it's just small energy in my hands and I woke up with energy, or whether it's that bam, pang of fight or flight, what's going on here, it's energy. It's energy that's coursing through your body. And when you label it as energy, you're able to step outside of it, step outside of that energy that's happening, and you're able to dissect it, really dissect it, pick it apart, and actually mentally reason it through to know, okay, it's not really likely that that worst thing is going to happen, but if that worst thing is going to happen, what am I going to put in place to deal with that worst thing? So I hope this has been helpful to you, friends. Don't forget #live, #replay in the comments. And please do comment below. Let me know what topics you'd like to discuss in future weeks. This has been week 10 of Matt Chat. I am Melissa Ross, your mindset coach with Rise to Wellness and your children's yoga instructor with Breathe With Me Yoga. I wish you all a lovely night tonight. Take care.